Are you a fan of rock, metal, and alternative music? The Kevin Powell Podcast, hosted by me, Kevin Powell, brings you fresh, in-depth interviews with the hottest bands from all over the world. Just search the Kevin Powell Podcast on the iHeartRadio app and listen today. Today's episode is brought to you by G Fuel, the energy drink for creators and gamers who go all in. What's going on, guys? It's Kevin Powell here, part of the Kevin Powell Podcast. I love metal. I love talking to bands. I've done it for years and years and years, and I hope to continue doing it for years and years and years. And I'll tell you what, I got a heavy hitter with me. I got the vocalist from the band Ov Sulfur. It's Ricky Hoover. How are we doing today, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course, I appreciate you letting me talk to you. You know, I've been a longtime fan for years. I mean, you got a wall behind you of all the tours and fun stuff that you've done. But we're going to talk about a few different things. We have the new album, Endless. I want to know, what was, the writing and recording process like for this album?
For this one, we wanted to try something a little bit different. I wanted to make the lyrics and general theme and concept, if you will, of the album a little bit more personal and a little bit more relatable for our listeners and our fans. You know, this album deals with a lot of really intense emotions. At least that's the place I was at where I wrote the lyrics.
Okay.
I think the music matches it too. So,
yeah, I mean, you got quite a hell of a lineup on this, different musicians from, when you guys first started, of course, but that's okay because it really shows the evolution of the band and the sound. When you went into the lyric process for this, how did you go about this differently from the previous releases?
Well, I feel like the music in this is a lot more, a lot more, I don't want to say complex, but I feel like it more encapsulates everything that we want to be, basically. It has a lot of different influences from a lot of different genres. We like to mix everything. And the music, to me, it's brutal and heavy and crushing, but it also has some really sad, like really, really dramatic moments. And I wanted the lyrics to match that. So I kind of went back to what I did in my my old band I was in years ago when I wrote an album about suicide and myself being suicidal at the time. So I wanted to write this album not so much to be so much like that album, but this one to speak to people a little bit more than our previous releases that were more primarily focused on anti-religion. I'm very outspoken when it comes to my beliefs on that. So the first releases, the EP and the LP, that was kind of like at the forefront of those lyrically. Whereas to this one is more, the idea of just endless sadness and grief and loss and all of these different things that kind of go with that.
Really emotional album too. It's a mature album for sure. I appreciate the songwriting and the lyricism in this. Just as a fan of not just you guys, but as music as general. Yeah, I like my ass beaters. That's just caveman riffs. But I also like, the things that make you feel something, right? What would you say your favorite track off of this record is and why?
Ooh, man, I can confidently say I love them all, to be honest.
Yep.
But the standout one for me, the track Chase and I wrote about losing our grandparents, that's probably one of the heavy hitters for me as far as, being personally tied to it and the emotion. I also think that song is completely different for us. There's no harsh vocals in that song at all.
How dare you? No, I'm kidding.
I know. We made a ballad on an album, which is hilarious. Especially in the world of deathcore or whatever genre people want to put us in that category. I just call it all metal personally.
Yeah.
But we that one and probably the last track on the album, because I did stuff on that album that, much like on Wither, I've never done on any recording. I mean, I hit falsetto high notes on that album, which I never thought would be possible. Or on that song, which I never thought would be possible.
Now, was that a spur of the moment, like, let me give this a shot, or was the music behind it really like, I think this definitely needs this, and I need to push myself to make this happen? What kind of happened there?
Well, originally, if I'm not mistaken, that was supposed to be like almost like an interlude on the album. And Chase and I were talking, and we came up with the idea of making it a song, or I forget the specific part, but because I came to the studio after my drummer Levi and Chase had been there for about a month, and I went out for about a week because that's all I had to be able to get everything done.
Whoa.
That's usually how I operate, honestly, and I usually finish early. I like just to like get it done right when I'm there
Okay.
and kind of grip and rip it. Basically, is what I say. So they played me that, and I just had an idea, and then Chase and I, for that song specifically, we both went into the room for the vocals and kind of just wrote it in the moment, in the feeling of that song. And we're basically going line by line, collaborating with each other and with Josh Schrader, who recorded the whole album. And there was, I don't know, I'm a very skeptical, very like, not superstitious person or anything like that, but I definitely think there was some kind of magic in the air or whatever when we were writing that and just doing line by line and just coming up with all these really catchy things. And the last part of that song where I do hit those notes was in fact just a spur of the moment thing. I kind of just was like, I'll try it. I'll see if I can do it. And we actually have a cell phone video of me doing it. And you can hear Chase and Josh and see me all reacting like, holy smokes, that just happened. And, which I'm sure we'll be putting out here pretty soon so people can see it. Because the reaction on us is just so like, you can tell it's so genuine because we were just genuinely like, wow, that just happened.
I love that. You mean you heard what the song needed and you gave it to you brought it to life. So I love hearing stories like that. So thank you for sharing.
Awesome.
Next thing we got to talk about is this big tour with Orbit Culture coming right up. I say big because it starts on 2/18 and it's going all the way through 4/10. That's a long time.
54 days.
So what's the mental and physical preparations like for you for something that's close to 2 months here?
I mean, it's funny, when I first started this band with Chase, and the guys we had, I told everybody I don't want to tour at all. I have
Okay.
a business, I have a family, I have, my wife and my children, and I don't want to be away. And I lived that life. And as the band seemed to grow, much to my surprise, right, I started being okay with touring and going further. And it was my rule was like, okay, I can do a month. I can do a month-long tour, which is the standard nowadays, usually.
Yeah.
Thanks to social media and, online presence and streaming and all that other things, you don't have to go out there as much and just put your name out there. Some bands do, but most of the time you don't really have to. And then, we've done quite a bit of touring and got some really, really good opportunities. And then this one came, and I was like, 2 months, oh my God, how am I going to do this? And it's just one of those things you have to jump on it when you get it. It's such a big tour. Orbit Culture is such a good band.
Mhm.
Like, I really, really love their last release as well. And it's just a great opportunity, and we're very thankful for them bringing us out, as well as Atlas, another awesome band that's out with us. And, I talked to my wife, I let her know all of the, details and this and that. And I'm very fortunate. She's just incredibly supportive, and she understands
Aw.
that, like, our music helps people, and I don't want to sound like that, whatever kind of guy, but I've been very fortunate enough for people to come up to me and hug me and tell me how much our music has meant to them and how it's helped them with the loss of their children, with Earthen on the last album about my nephew passing away from cancer at 16. And then a lot of people are messaging me about Wither, and all this stuff. So my wife understands how much our music helps these people. So she's very supportive of it. And she also shares the belief that this will help teach our children that your dreams are reachable. You can get to where you want. You just have to be willing to sacrifice and suffer at times and get them, as long as you just keep going and keep trying. So, her approval of things is kind of what a lot of it solely rests on, because,
Right.
I I'm very fortunate that I found my wife. She's the cliche, she is my other half, and I don't want to do anything to jeopardize that. So as long as she says it's okay, I can do it. She's my boss, essentially.
You hear that other bands anytime, you got to run it by the wife. That's just how it is. But it's other bands too. It's not just you. You're listening to the Kevin Powell Podcast, where rock, metal, and alternative collide. New music, real conversations, and your next favorite band starts right here. Right now I'm talking to Ricky Hoover from Ov Sulfur, and wow, what a tour these guys are about to go on. It's close to 2 months. It's with Orbit Culture, and who else did you say? Atlas, yes. So I got to check Atlas out.
Dude,
and that's part of the whole tour thing, right? You bring a band with you, or you're that band that's being brought on, and wait a minute, who is this? And you check them out, or you see them live for the first time. You're like, all right, I like these guys. And that's kind of the whole point, right? But what was the call like for you to, hey, do you want to go on this tour? That's with Orbit Culture, Atlas, or maybe it was an email now, but what was that reaction like?
So I knew of Orbit Culture. I have where is it? You might be able to see it. It's a poster kind of up there. It's signed by Orbit Culture. So I do enjoy the band. So my guitar player, Chase, he gave me the call when I was at work and ran it by me. And I was like, oh, sick. Hell yeah, I'd love to do that. And he's like, the only thing, though, is it's kind of long. And I was like, all right, what's kind of long? And he told me, and I was like, wow, that's... shoot, that might be the only thing that I might not be able to do, and, I don't want the band to miss out on the opportunity. Might have to get a fill-in or something. I don't know. I have to check with my boss, my wife, and and stuff. But like I said, even she understood. But like I kind of was like, wow, that's awesome, because they're a big band. They got a lot of buzz. They're doing really well. They're an incredible musicians. Like their music is very, very like what I think like a death metal Metallica would kind of sound like, I guess.
Okay. I like that.
You know what I mean? Like I would say something like that. Hopefully if they hear this, they take that as a compliment, but that's kind of what I think when I hear it. It's sick.
I mean, they're big, and they're only going to get bigger, and then amazing opportunity, like you said. Are there any cities or venues that you're excited to check out for the first time or revisit after so long?
Oh yeah, I really like playing the Palladium in
of course.
I'm brain farting right now in the city. Worcester?
Yeah. They pronounce it a different way, but
Worcester?
Yeah, that's it.
Is it Worcester? Yeah. I love playing the Palladium. We've been fortunate enough to play there on a whole bunch of tours, and it's the big room, which is always fun. A nice big stage. I like moving around on the stage a lot.
Mm-hmm.
As well as us playing. I played Brooklyn Bowls before, but I've never played the Brooklyn Bowl here in Las Vegas.
Ooh, okay.
I've played House of Blues here. I've played Triple B's, Fremont Country Club. I played some places here. And back in the day with my old band, I played like every place you could here. That they're not here anymore. But we've never played Brooklyn Bowl in Vegas, so I'm very excited because my children and my wife are going to come to that show because it's all ages.
Okay, that's awesome.
Most of the time they don't get to go, so very pumped for that. So
one of my favorite things, I do a lot of festival coverage, and Danny Wimmer presents festivals, for example. Mm-hmm. I always have to shout them out because I love them. I love being side stage and seeing the families that are up there watching, the husbands, the wives, the children, like whoever. That is such a heartwarming moment in front of 50,000 people. It's crazy. So yes, that's awesome for you, of course. Beyond this tour, who would you love to tour with that you haven't had the opportunity to yet, and why?
So my number one always, honestly, and it's funny because I always think about it, but I have brain farts a lot and I don't mention them. My number one is Parkway Drive.
Oh yeah,
I have been. I mean, back when ringtones were still a thing, when your phone would ring and someone would call and it would play a song you liked. I had Carry On.
Classic, yes.
On my phone for, I don't know, 2-3 years. And I never got tired of hearing that first guitar, So I would love to tour with Parkway Drive. I mean, they're in the upper echelons now, so I don't know if it'll happen, but, fingers crossed. That band just, I don't think they've put anything bad out ever, even all the way back to like Killing with a Smile, Smoke 'Em If You Got 'Em is a great song. So I would, even their new stuff, I love their new stuff too. I would definitely say Parkway Drive would be probably number one, you
Okay.
know. I have a few others, obviously, but I think Parkway would be cool.
That's a great dream band right there, especially if they play those old songs because, grew up with them. New songs are cool, of course.
Oh yeah,
That's how it goes. Do want to talk about a couple things. Just, it's in the past, yes, but I've never had the chance to ask these questions because
okay.
we've never had the encounter like this before. Suicide Silence reunion show, well, not the reunion show, the Mitch Lucker Memorial Show.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? I mean, obviously it was great, it was fantastic, but being on that stage for that one night, walk us through it. What happened prior, being on stage? What was the adrenaline like? Anything?
Oh man, that was kind of like a wave of just all over emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had talked to Mitch online quite a bit, and I was a big, massive fan. I've said this on other podcasts before. I was a massive fan of Mitch's. He kind of shaped and molded me with how he was. You know what I mean? As he did with most singers in our
Right.
genres and stuff. I got the email about doing it when I was in barber college, and I almost turned it down because of all the pressure from doing it. And then one of my friends talked me into, or he told me, he's like, dude, you have to do this. You know what I mean? So I was very nervous. I remember showing up at practice uh, at Garza's house, right? First time ever meeting Garza, right? First
Okay.
time, yeah. Because I had met Mark before, and I might have met Garza in passing, but not really talked to him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I show up and we start practicing and stuff, and I'm just like, this is insane. Like, I can't believe I'm doing this. And it's this weird, like dilemma you have because on on one hand you're like, wow, this is incredible. This band I've looked up to for so many years, and this is the band that kind of like broke me into a lot of this. You know what I mean? Like, and then on the other hand, you're like, I'm here because one of my favorite frontmen of all time isn't here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's this weird dichotomy, you know what I mean? Because it's like happy and also really sad, you know. And and then we had another practice where we were at a practice space, like a practice studio, lockout. You can rent the rooms and stuff. And all of these other singers started showing up. And I remember
Oh,
I
okay.
remember myself, Eddie, who sings for them now, who was a friend of mine from the Suffokate days. We used to tour together, I'll Show Parish and Suffokate and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And then Austin Carlisle was there, and there's a whole bunch of other people there and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just sitting down like this is I'm in the same room as these people because I'm a peer. I'm they consider me on the same level. You know what I mean? Which to me
Right.
was very weird and very off. I don't say off-putting, but I was almost uncomfortable a little bit because I'm very much my own worst critic in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in this room and I kind of got this imposter syndrome thing for a little bit. Um, and and yeah, it was wild. And then the show comes and my nerves are just shot. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the back room and there's literally everybody that's performing with the band that night is in that back room. And these are some people I've never met before and I've always looked up to. And then comes time to go on stage and I don't even remember. It just was like, okay, go on and go, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And they play the song live at a different tempo than they did on the album that I had practiced to.
Oh no.
And, it happens.
Yeah, of course.
And thankfully, I think I sounded okay, but I was so nervous as well. And I can hear that in my voice when I watch the video now or hear the album.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh man, I feel like I butchered that, whatever. But I wasn't there to sound as good as I could. I was there to give it everything I had for the reason of remembering Mitch and what he did for people, you
Right.
know. Plus that show, all the proceeds went to his daughter's college fund. So
Yeah.
it was really cool being a part of something greater than myself in that aspect and getting to share that stage with so many legendary people in remembrance of a legend, a goat.
Right.
So.
Perfectly well said. Thank you for sharing that. Again, I have never talked to anyone that was involved in that yet. So
Oh, really?
that was just one of those things where,
Yeah.
yes, I bought the DVD/CD when that came out. No, I wasn't lucky enough to get a ticket, and I'm all the way on the East Coast. So no, I didn't get a ticket and fly out. And money, right? College kid, right? So
I feel you. I wanted to go see the Have Heart shows, and I did not have the money to. And I'm a grown adult, and I still didn't have the money to go out there and do it. So I missed them.
Listen, to the people that can just on a dime go, yeah, I'll be at this one, I'll be at this one, other side of the country, I'll be there too. I'm like, what do you do?
Give me some of that.
Right. But awesome. I'm glad you got to be part of that. I love your part on that song. Yes, there are multiple legends that sang different parts of songs. Yours is up there for me. I'm not just...
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, big fan. Anyways, talked about Suffokate. I have 2 Suffokate questions, and we're going to move right along. With Suffokate, I mean, to the people that are getting into Ov Sulfur now, maybe they knew he was in some band, and I have listeners and viewers that are like, oh, who's this guy? Let's check him out. Let's dive into what he used to do. You were in that band for a long time, and then you just kind of took a break. What was this break what brought on the break, and what brought you back into music with this new band?
So I was in Suffokate for 4 years, actually, about 4 years. I was so they had 2 singers previously to me. One passed away, and then they had the other one they were both on the Oakland album. I was not.
Mm-hmm.
So I came in when Jared, the singer, and them had parted ways. So, that was a lot of really hectic and heavy touring, especially back then, because social media and streaming platforms weren't quite a thing like they are now. So you had to go out for months and months and months on end. And you'd go out for like a month and a half tour and meet up with another 2-month tour. So, I mean, in the span of maybe 4 or 5 years, I forget now, of me being in that band, I would have been maybe home 6 months, if that.
Plus the 2 albums.
So I was just constantly grinding it with those guys. And on tour, everybody thinks it's fun and all this, but it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of stress, And, emotions run high in those situations, especially when you have combative personalities, as did that band. And unfortunately, there's one member in that band that seems to be just, it's kryptonite. You know what I mean? And everybody has an issue, and that band is always, stopping because of that member. And that's the case that happened with me, and that member. And at one point I just was like, I'm out here living my dream. I'm doing things I never thought possible. And I'm not enjoying any of it. I'm miserable. I'm suicidal. I want to kill myself. I can't, I'm not in a good place, which I was. And that's what I wrote that last album about all the times and ways I thought about trying to kill myself, or attempted. And I just decided that was not a safe space for me anymore when it came to that. And it was too toxic for me. So I had to step away from the only thing I've ever wanted to do in my life. And, in doing that, I went to therapy. I fixed myself and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I did that and basically went on with my life. I thought music was just a memory of something I did in a different life, essentially. And then COVID happened, and I was not allowed to work in Las Vegas.
That's right. Yep.
Barbers were deemed non-essential, unless, of course, you were a handful of them chosen to cut, like, people in government or police officers. If you were part of those barbers chosen, you could still work. As well, Nevada does not give financial, like unemployment to self-employed people.
Okay.
So they did do a PUA and other things, but, you kind of got too little too late when it came to that. And they were, they had a bunch of clerical errors, and they qualified us for way less than what we needed to survive. So I was in the midst of selling everything and freaking out and stuff. And I was like, I need some other outlet. I'm not able to be creative like I am at work. So I decided to, start jamming with people. And Chase and I got introduced through a mutual friend. She's the reason for all of this, our friend Alexis. And we just started talking about music, what we liked, what we didn't, and had fun and just planned on it being a little fun, maybe play a couple bar shows, nothing too big and special. And then I announced it on the internet and it kind of just went crazy.
It did. I remember.
I did not expect that at all. I was like, oh man, I'm old. People probably forgot about me. You know what I mean? And come to find out, I guess maybe that was the beginning of the resurgence for MySpace Deathcore.
Okay, yeah.
So I think maybe, even though we don't play that style of deathcore, my band doesn't now, but I was from that era. So I think that's what kind of got people's attention, because that was happening and people were rediscovering or discovering for the first time these older bands from back then.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, plus, like we mentioned, we were on that Suicide Silence tribute show, and, all those guys were somewhat part of the MySpace era.
Oh, yeah.
Some way or another. Well, we talked about some bad. Let's talk about some good. You got a whole wall of stuff behind you, like great tours and albums and this and that. What would you say? It doesn't have to be the favorite moment, but just a favorite moment from your previous band. That way, it's not just all negative.
Well, from my previous band, we did a tour in Europe with Unearth and Heaven Shall Burn.
Okay.
And there's another band on there, I forget. That was some of the biggest shows to this day I've ever played. And it was incredible coming out on these bigger stages and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And that as far as the old school stuff, that, and then also touring in Russia were some pretty amazing moments. We did a signing at a tiny little record shop in was it Moscow or St. Petersburg? But we were there for like 2 hours signing stuff.
Oh wow. Line down the street.
Yeah, it was. I had never experienced that, because we were like a subgenre of a subgenre of a subgenre, and like the people there, man, they bleed for metal. Like they want you to. It's wild. They want you to like. They don't want you just to sign stuff. They want you to like give them something permanent forever. Like they'll ask you to like burn them, like with a lighter, so they have a scar, or like.
Carve Slayer into their arm.
Yeah, basically. And I'm like, I'm not going to do any of that, but I'll sign this thing for you and we can have a picture, But yeah, it's pretty wild. So I'd say those are some really fun, awesome moments,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now let's fast forward to new band of Sulfur. Mm-hmm. Now you got years to go, countless more memories to make. You have so many things you got to do. But what's a favorite moment you've happened with this band so far?
So on the last tour a couple of tours ago, we played with a band called Necrogoblicon.
Oh boy, is this with or without Dickie?
With Dickie.
Okay, great.
Yeah, Dickie's my boy. I love Dickie. Dickie's another goat, man.
Yeah,
he's
he
just
is
so good, and he's such a nice, cool guy. Everybody in that band is incredible. And we did that tour, and we played 1720 in LA, which is all ages. And like for me, I'm that total like, I love being a father. That's the greatest joy of my life. That my children are like my greatest accomplishments. You know what I mean? And I got to bring my son out on stage with me.
Oh.
And he introduced one of our most popular songs. And I told him beforehand, stay up there with me. Rock out, stay up there with me. There was like an ego riser for him to put his foot up on and everything and stand on. And we have the video of him doing it. He introduces the song and he stands up on there the whole time for the song. And we play Stained in Rot. I think it was Stained in Rot. And he's just rocking out the whole time. I would say that's probably my favorite memory so far with this band. My wife actually had a photo of it, or we got a photo of it, and she had it put on a canvas, a giant canvas piece, and now it's a big, huge canvas poster on his wall.
That's awesome.
So that was really
memorialized.
Cool. Yeah, like I would say that's probably one of the happiest things, for sure. You know, that's yeah.
I can see the joy and excitement coming out of you talking about it. So it's like, let's go. I love that. Now, we got the new album. We got a big tour coming up. What's next for Ov Sulfur?
Hopefully some more touring, man. Like like I said, when I first started this band with Chase, I was just kind of cemented in the fact that I was past my touring part of my life. And I just now, as we move further into it, and these people or these fans are really positive about this new record. They really seem to like it, which is incredible. I've been getting a lot of messages, and people are really finding help in these songs. And so I would really love to do more touring. I want to get out there more now. I'm locked in and I'm ready to go, and my wife's supportive of it. So I hope we can do some more kick-ass tours. We got some stuff in the works. I can't say anything yet, obviously, but I want to do that, and I want to write more amazing records and see how much further we can expand our sound. I don't like the idea of rules in music. I think you put yourself in a box, and music is expression and art, and part of that art and part of that expression is pushing boundaries and breaking rules.
Very well said, and it makes you wonder what you guys are going to be doing next, and we'll see, but excited regardless. Now, I always ask bands this because I always get a plethora of different answers across the way here. With all your experience, touring, bands, this, that, where you're at now and today, what advice would you give to a band starting today, and why?
Make sure you love this, because it will test you every chance it gets. You will lose relationships, friendships, money, possessions. It'll strip everything from you from time to time. You can build it back up, but if you are not just madly and deeply in love with creating this art, don't try it, because it will break your heart as much as it can. But if you're lucky enough to push through all of that, the feeling you get from the reward of it is incredible. Not like anything else. That's
Perfectly well said, Ricky. I do appreciate that. Again, totally different answers across the board, from newer bands to veterans. I mean, you name it. I've talked to them. I talked to a lot. Any final words you want to say to fans?
Thank you for supporting us. Please keep jamming our songs, keep streaming them, keep buying the merch, keep coming to the shows. You people are the reason we're able to do this. It's not us, it's all you guys. So the more you do that, the more you post about us, the more you support us in any way, that's what helps us to keep doing this. So please keep doing that, because we want to keep doing it.
Awesome. Ricky, I do appreciate a little bit of your time today. Love the album. Hopefully I get to catch you on this tour either. Well, I'm not going to say where, but it's on the East Coast. There's plenty of opportunities there for me.
Shoot me a message, man. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Hopefully we get a lift in one day too,
Oh, bro, now you're speaking my language, man. I lift every day on tour.
Awesome. I'll talk to you here in a little bit off air, okay?
No, for sure.
My man. That's Ricky Hoover of Sulfur. You got to check them out. They got that new album out. They got tour coming up, so make sure you catch a date. You got VIP?
No, not on this tour, no.
Okay, you got merch though?
We got merch, yeah. I always come out and hang out, so.
Awesome. Yeah, get a picture with Ricky, get some merch, do the thing. Have some fun. Check out Ov Sulfur. Appreciate you checking this out. We'll see you next time. If you like what you heard, hit follow or subscribe wherever you're listening. New episodes drop regularly. Don't miss what's next.